Shalom, shalom, shalom. Kahalo Yahbashim Yahushai, Bahashim Mikakadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders, great millstone. A salutation to the Arkim pushing this word in truth and sincerity. I just uh, looking at the sport and I come across this article. So like this is next footballer, man, very good footballer he was as well. You know how so-called Negroes good at sport. His name was Dalian Atkinson, and he was murdered by a police officer who tased him. We got our own English Derek Chauvin over here, and it says here Dalian Atkinson murder trial. Ex-footballer tased and kicked. Right, it says here former Aston Villa striker Damien Atkinson died in 2006 in Telford, Shropshire, at the age of 48. An ex-footballer was by police of six times tased by police for 6 times longer than standard before being kicked, leaving bootlace prints on his forehead, a jury heard. PC Benjamin Monk is charged with the murder of Dalian Atkinson during an altercation in Shropshire in 2006. His co-accused, PC Mary Ellen Bentley Smith, is charged with assault. Opening the trial, prosecutors read witness statements which claim Mr. Atkinson was kicked or struck by them after falling to the ground. There he is there, our own English Chauvin. Okay? The hate these people have for us is undeniable. Okay? That's why we got a rude awakening for them when our Lord turns up. Okay? They that have a perpetual hatred, it says. Ezekiel 35 and 5. Their hatred is deep rooted in prophecy. Okay? Look at his eyes, yeah? He's all looking sorrowful, yeah? He weren't looking like that when he tasered him and then he booted him in his head twice. Okay? It says there, PC Monk and 31-year-old PC Bentley Smith, officers with West Mercer Police, arrived at Mr. Atkinson's father's house in Meadow Close, Telford, shortly before 1:30 on 15th of August, after neighbours had reported Mr. Atkinson acting strangely and shouting in the street. When the officers arrived, PC Monk attempted to deploy his taser when Mr. Atkinson, who had serious health problems, opened the door of his father's home, acting erratically and claiming to be the Messiah. It failed, and Mr. Atkinson then came out of the property and went to the end of the drive. PC Monk deployed the second taser cartridge, which again failed. The prosecution said Mr. Atkinson then punched the glass pane in his father's door, which shattered, leading to further confrontation with the officers, and PC Monk deployed his taser for the third time. Prosecutors said the default setting for the taser is 5 seconds, but PC Monk 42 continued to press the trigger, overriding the system for 33 seconds. The third cartridge was effective, incapacitating Mr. Atkinson, who then fell to the ground. While he was unresponsive, jurors heard the police officers set about him. There they are there, two crackers, the cracker woman and the cracker devil man, okay? These two demons, wicked, evil Edomites, yeah? Alright, it says there, PC Monk kicked him in the head with such force, prints of his bootlaces were left in two parts of Mr. Atkinson's forehead, while PC Bentley Smith used her baton to strike him a number of times while he lay still in the road, the court was told. Summarizing witnesses' accounts, prosecution counsel Sandra Healy, QC, said one thought Mr. Atkinson was unconscious because of the speed which he collapsed. pinning his arms under his body when he fell. Another described how tentative kicks by PC Monk were followed by a final massive and powerful kick as Mr. Atkinson lay motionless on the floor. Mr. Healy said of the witnesses he described the motion as similar to the sort of kick that you would have been required to move a ball upfield with significant force. He said at the same time the female officer was striking the man with her extended baton. There's his brother there, yeah. And it says other officers were called to the scene after PC Betley Smith pushed her emergency activation button. Miss Healy and PC Bedford, who was on the scene first, had seen her raise her police baton over her shoulder and strike Dalian Atkinson 3 times around the waist area. Another officer, PC Ben Wright, said he had witnessed PC Monk with his right foot rested on Dalian's head. She added, "There, look, there you got it. You got the old Mr. Chauvin move over here." Both officers, whose jurors heard, were in a relationship at the time of the incident, deny wrongdoing. However, it is the prosecution's case their use to force was excessive and sustained while Mrs. posed no threat. Miss Healy said PC Monk was an experienced police officer of 14 years and would have known his risk causing Mr. Atkinson really serious injury by kicking him in the head. She said PC Monk had not been acting in self-defense but had been angry to have been put in fear by this man. He chose to take the anger out on Dalian Atkinson by kicking him in the head. PC Bentley Smith too said was not acting in self-defense or the defense of her colleague, but also taking out her anger on a man who had earlier put her in fear with the weapon she had been entrusted with to use lawfully. Miss Healy said the officers were entitled to use reasonable force to protect themselves, and their conduct prior to the discharge of the third taser cartridge was not criticised. However, she urged jurors to consider with great care the defendant's case they feared for their safety and were therefore entitled to use such force. See? Yeah, by kicking a unconscious man in the head. A black man in the head. Dalian Atkinson, who had a long sporting career at a number of clubs including Ipswich, Sheffield Wednesday, Aston Villa, Manchester City, died about 2:45 on the morning after the altercation. He had been suffering with high blood pressure, heart disease, and end-stage retinal failure. The court was told. The prosecution said although pathologists agreed his underlying health condition meant Mr. Atkinson was at a greatly increased risk of dying, he would have survived were it not for the third taser deployed and the kicks to his head. PC Monk denies murder as well as an altercation charge of manslaughter. PC Bentley denies assault, accusing Aki, Aki, sorry, accusing bodily assault. Okay, so there's the two. There's the guy, the black man they killed, and these are the two cracker cops. Okay, the two of the wicked, and they're gonna get off. They probably get off because they're crackers. A black man's life's not worth two cracker lives. You see, but we got our own Chauvin over here. Yeah, in England, many, and this happened. Many. This is not a isolated incident. These are regular. Okay? So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to say, Kal Halal, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Kadash, Double honour to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutation to the Akim, pushing this word in truth and sincerity. Kwam Yasharallah, Awa Ababa Bo, and destruction to Esau, man. Esau needs that death, bruv. He needs it. Like yesterday. Shalom.